watching my new video where I am going to recommend you guys few books that I read last year in 2025. I have only fiction book this time. So I'm just gonna recommend you guys and review some of them. So I don't know what this is going to be, but without any further delay, let's get into the video. The first book is The Diary of a Young Girl by Anna Frank. This is the first book that I read in 2025. This book is really good when you are someone who writes journal themselves and has their own diary. So मसित पनि मेरो आफ्नै डायरी छ अनि म त्यहाँ चाहिँ आफ्नो कुराहरू लेख्छु. So this book feels like you're reading someone's journal, like sneaking into what she is doing in her life. यो चाहिँ World War II तिरको बेलाको कुराहरू पनि यसमा धेरै नै छ अनि यसमा चाहिँ एन्डिङ चाहिँ एकदमै त्यो नसोचेको जस्तो छ, अनएक्सपेक्टेड. This girl has her own dreams and hopes and desires that she wants to do after the war. चाहिँ प्राजक्ता कोलीको चाहिँ एउटा रेकमेन्डेसनमा हेरेको थिएँ, so I loved this book. And it was very emotional पनि, बिचमा म दुई तिनचोटि रोएँ पनि, but fun थियो एकदमै. Next book is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. यो बुक चाहिँ मैले अगेन यसपछि मैले यो बुक पढेको थिएँ, सो एकदमै सिम्पल लाग्यो मलाई यो बुक चाहिँ. दिस बुक इज भेरी सिम्पल, एकदमै इजी स्टोरी लाइन छ. एउटा सेपर्ड बोय हुन्छ जसले चाहिँ के अरे एउटा जर्नीमा जान्छ वेयर ही फाइन्ड्स ट्रेजर अफ इन द पिरामिड्स अफ इजिप्ट. अनि यो बुकमा चाहिँ कस्तो छ भन्दाखेरि एल्केमिस्टवाला जुन यो वर्ड छ नि, म चाहिँ यो वर्डै के हो भन्ने थाहा थिएन, तर बिस्तारै बिस्तारै पढ्दै गएपछि चाहिँ दिस बुक हेज दिस मिनिङ वेयर इट सेज द्याट देयर इज दिस लभ द्याट ही हेज फर फातिमा द्याट ही मेट्स इन द्याट जर्नी. अनि एन्डिङ चाहिँ अगेन ही फाइन्ड्स द्याट आई थिङ्क एल्केमीवाला पावर. अनि एकदमै एन्डिङ चाहिँ राम्रो छ. अनि मैले सिकेको चाहिँ यो बुकबाट चाहिँ द थिङ्स द्याट आई लर्न फ्रम दिस बुक वाज एभ्रिथिङ इज रिटन मक्तब भन्ने वर्ड चाहिँ यसमा छ, विच आई लभड. अनि अरू भनेको चाहिँ एकदमै यो फ्रिक्सन बुकमा चाहिँ इट्स अ गुड स्टार्ट इफ यु बिलिभ इन सम वान एन्ड समथिङ. सो द्याट राम्रो बुक छ चाहिँ. Two books that I loved reading and I cried so much while reading it, like I am not even kidding. So मैले सुरुमा यो 1000 Splendid Sun by खालिद हुसैनी पढेको थिएँ. यो बुक पढ्दाखेरि चाहिँ मलाई आइडिया थियो कि इट्स भेरी लाइक हार्ट ब्रेकिङ, एकदमै नराम्रो एन्डिङ छ. तर फिक्सन बुकमा चाहिँ अगेन हि इज अथर फ्रम अफगानिस्तान हु लिभ्स इन युएसए, तर हि हेज हिज स्टोरिज रिलेटेड टु अफगानिस्तान. सो यो वार बेलाकै कुरा हो. सो अहिले सोच्दाखेरि चाहिँ मैले धेरै वारवाला बुकहरू धेरै पढेको रहेछु. तर टक्स अबाउट फ्यू अफ द क्यारेक्टर्स लाइक मरियम, लैला एन्ड रशिद एन्ड अ फ्यू अदर क्यारेक्टर्स विच आर भेरी लाइक एकदमै हेज देयर ओन personality that is so. Khalid is the master of fiction novels, the way he writes. Because I love this book. Another book is The Kite Runner, again by Khalid Hosseini. यो दुईटै बुक मैले एकैचोटि किनेको थिएँ, तर यो बुक योभन्दा अझै यो बुक मलाई एकदमै आई क्राइड अ लट, but I finished this book in a week. This book talks about some storylines of Amir and Hassan, and again their respective lives. यो पनि अगेन वर्ल्ड वारतिरकै कुरा हो. सो यसको चाहिँ फिल्म पनि छ, मैले त्यो फिल्म पनि हेरेँ बुक सकिसकेपछि, तर फिल्ममा केही पनि छैन जति यो बुकमा छ. एभ्री डिटेलिङ होइन एकदम मजाले लेखेको छ यो बुकमा. सो आई वुड रिड दिस बुक अगेन एन्ड अगेन एन्ड क्राई बिकज अगेन इट्स अ भेरी अगेन कस्तो स्टोरी लाइन चाहिँ धेरै राम्रो छ यो बुकको. सो and in between तीनटा चारवटा बुक रेकमेन्ड गरिसकेपछि another book is Milk and Honey by Rupi Kaur. This is a poetic book, but I consider it as fiction because it has its own story. यसको चाहिँ story is divided into 4 parts. Hurting, loving, breaking and healing भन्ने छ. So चारवटै पार्ट यति मजाले एक्सप्लेन गरेको छ. This book is also one of my first poetic books, तर पोएट्री भन्दा पनि धेरै यहाँ अनि फेमिनाइन वाला एनर्जी चाहिँ यसमा धेरै नै छ. सो इफ यु समवन हु बिलिभ्स कि वुमेन सुड बी लाइक दिस एन्ड द्याट यताउति जुन सोसाइटीले भन्छ, यो बुकले चाहिँ सबै कुरा एक्सप्लेन गर्छ मजाले. मलाई चाहिँ मैले 4-5चोटि यो बुक पढेको छु अनि पढि पनि राम्रो छ. बेला बेला अगेन यतिकै निकालेर एकैछिनमा आई थिङ्क 1 घन्टामा यो बुक पढ्न सकिन्छ. इट हेज सम आई थिङ्क 100-200 पेजेस. ओके 200 पेजेस रहेछ एक्ज्याक्टली. सो एटलिस्ट रिड इट वन्स होइन. अनि वन्स भनेपछि 5चोटि त पढिहालिन्छ. सो या आउट अफ द बक्स द वान अफ द बेस्ट बुक्स. आई हेभ अनदर बुक द्याट इज द नेम सेक. नेम सेक बुक चाहिँ वेन आई वाज गोइङ टु माई होम मैले त्यो बुक किनेको थिएँ. इट्स अ फुल स्टोरी लाइन बुक वेयर you meet characters who are Indian immigrants and they get married and uh, there is this name called Gagol उसले चाहिँ आफ्नो आइडेन्टिटी खोइरहेको हुन्छ अनि त्यहाँबाट लास्टमा चाहिँ when he finds himself as a person, a man who is मतलब love by his parents यताउता सबै कुराले रियलाइज गर्छ तर यो पुरा यो नेम सेकमा चाहिँ अगेन उसको नामको चाहिँ के मिनिङ हो के सेकमा उसले त्यो नाम पायो भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ इट इज अ जर्नी तर एकदम ब्युटिफुली रिटन अनि मलाई चाहिँ कस्तो भएको थियो नि पढ्दा पढ्दै चाहिँ मैले फिल्म पनि रहेछ यो मुभीको सो आई अल्सो वाच द फिल्म अफ अनदर बुक द्याट आई रेड वाज द बेल जार सो वेन आई रेड दिस बुक okay, the way I picked this book was very random. I was like, I saw someone recommending, oh, you should read The Bell Jar. It's so heavy and it's so depressing. So I was like, what can be the name of the bell jar with flowers and the first, you know, the look of this book. But when I picked that book and I started reading a few points, the book was filled with the life which is imperfect. The character name is Easter Greenwood. And I remember her name very clearly that the way she was going through her life, the things that had happened to her, and she fell into depression, but then the way she tried to kill herself a lot of times shows how difficult it must have been for her to be perfect for her people. And I believe your character चाहिँ एकदमै त्यो अहिलेको जेनेरेसनले चाहिँ पढ्नुपर्ने खालको छ अनि अगेन एकदमै स्याड बुक बट एकदम इम्पोर्टेन्ट बुक जस्तो लाग्यो मलाई चाहिँ सो आई थिङ्क आई डिड अ गुड जब विथ पिकिङ द्याट बुक another very light and Bollywood drama kind of a friendship into lovers khalko book and a love triangle. It is Can We Be Strangers Again. When I picked up this book again, it was very random. There was this author who had promoted his book like, okay, this is my book, and it was available in Nepal, so I was like, let me order it. Okay, the page was nice blue and everything. I Can Be Strangers Again and simple. But when I started reading it, it was more of like I was watching a movie through books, like through the pages. So it was very nice, very beautifully written. It talks about the reality of modern relationships. I have another book that is called Man's Search for a Meaning. So you book when I had no meaning, no motivation, and I was feeling really sad about my life that I don't have meaning. I read this book. Well, this book is kind of heavy for me. Still it is heavy because whenever I pick it, I'm like, the first line I read, I feel like I don't want to read it the next page. But I made sure that I read it very slowly. It took me a few months to read because it's a very short book, but then it was difficult for me. The book talks about the person who is a doctor living in a Nazi concentration camp during the World War, and he is still hopeful. He is still making sure that he is breathing. He is fighting through all the dreadful like situations that he's been going through. The logotherapy here in this book is very informative. It was very new to me, so I want you to pick this book whenever you feel like I don't have any meaning. I don't know what is my reason of being alive or living this life. So it gives you that answer. So yeah. And another book that I have is The Silent Patient by Alex Chelides. I cannot pronounce him, but it's a suspense thriller book. And for me, it was more of like a horror movie because I read this book in 2 days. And I was so into the story that I didn't felt like, okay, I need to leave this book and do my other work. I was into this book the whole time, finished it in 2 days, but the storyline was still very shocking to me. Where like, if you had told me this earlier, the story, then I would have not even picked this book because I won't say it's a waste, but then it's like it traps you into the whole character and thing. But here the character is, I think, Elisa Berenson or something like that, and then there is this Theo Faber, which I know. He was a therapist where she kills her husband all of a sudden, and she has this case going on for the therapy, and then Theo Faber helps her out. She doesn't speak at all, and it's very like very long story, but then short and very thrilling. So I recommend you to read this book because again, it's a very new concept where it's suspense. It's full of suspense and thriller. So if you feel like reading a suspense thriller book, then you can pick this book. Another book is The Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. Very short book, few pages, I think 70 to 80 pages. This book is again very, I would say, important in our generation. In your 20s, you should read this book because it gives you again that reality check that here the character, I think it is Gregor, is a working person. He works for his family, earns for his family, but then one day he suddenly becomes an insect, and um, he has to like stay in his home, and the reality that his family goes through after this incident that he's an insect now. So here it's so a different kind of a story written by Franz Kafka, where the character feels like I am shit, I am shit, he pities himself. So I think you should read this book because a lot of us sometimes feel like I'm not worth of anything, I don't deserve anything, and this character talks about mostly such pittiness. So, and I have this another very short and sweet book by Fedor Dostoevsky, White Knights. Um, these are very two different characters, and he mostly lives in his dream than reality. White Knight has this 4 to 5 night story where he meets a girl and he falls in love with her, and he convinces himself that she loves someone else. So it's like a love triangle kind of a thing. She's waiting for that lover, and he's a third character here, like a thought wheeling thing. But again, I read this book like with like every morning. I read a few pages of it, and I feel like okay, it didn't like make me feel like I should jump into the story too fast, because the character, the way he writes everything here, like Foyer writes it very simply. Like he doesn't think before he speaks. So I feel like sometimes I am like that, and we all are like that when we are in love. So I love this book with this storyline, and very simple. Okay, I love this book. If you liked this video where I recommended you guys pathetically, but I am telling you the books that I read were the best books. And no, every book made me feel excited every time I read them. So that is why I'm recommending you these books. If you want to read a story rather than just watch a movie, you can read any of these books. Handy and very, I think, affordable. They're not that higher price. So if you like this video, comment or pink heart. That would be really good. Um, I'll see you next time with another video. Till then,